got everybody in the, yeah. All right. So, we call the meeting, right? We have to do a pledge.
We'll find out in the road.
All right, so we're here to call the special meeting of the City Council and School Committee. Special meeting Wednesday, August 18th, with the Lowell School Committee and City Council. Roll call?
Counselor Conway.
Here.
Counselor Drinkwater.
Here.
Counselor Elliott.
Here.
Mayor Leahy.
Here.
Counselor Mercia.
Here.
Counselor Noon.
Here.
Counselor Rourke. Counselor Samaras.
Here.
Counselor Chow.
Here.
Ms. Clark.
Here.
Mr. Dakota.
Here.
Mr. Dillon.
Here.
Ms. Doherty.
Here.
Mr. Lay.
Here.
Ms. Martin.
Here.
All present.
Okay, so mayor's business communication, remote and Zoom participation. Need a motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Noon. 3, votes from the city manager. Votes authorizing city manager and superintendent of schools to submit statements of interest to the Massachusetts School Building Authority for accelerated repair of roofs, boilers, and windows at the following schools: the Bartlett, the Butler, Daly, Green Edge, Green Elge, Lincoln, McAuliffe, McAvenue, Moody, Merkland, Robinson, Rogers, Shaughnessy, and Wang schools. Madam Manager, before we go on, do you want to give a brief explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you to the council and to the school committee members. Just by way of background, and I'm joined here tonight with my colleague, Superintendent Joel Boyd. The vote, as you have read, is to authorize both the superintendent and myself to file statements of interest on those 20 projects located at 13 different schools. Just by way of background, we have voted on this once before, and that was in 2020. If you recall, our first application round was in 2019, where we were approved for a number of projects, and I can summarize those if you would like. But in 2020, we again applied for a number of projects. The one roof, the Shaughnessy School roof, was approved, and so now we are resubmitting these. But we cannot use the old vote from 2020. We need to have a current vote of 2021. We did submit these in June of this year, which was the deadline for submitting these applications. But there is another deadline coming up, and that is for site visits by the MSBA. And our vote has to be in advance of that, and that ends next week. So it's kind of a housekeeping matter to take this vote. It's by taking the vote, we're not the MSBA still has to invite each project in. This is just really at the application stage. So Kristen Clancy has prepared a slide, and you should have handouts on your desk that explains the accelerated repair program, what it is. And as we know, we've participated in this already, and each project has to be more than $250,000. It has age requirements, roofs, boilers, windows, and doors. We did participate, as I said previously, and received approval for 6 boilers and 2 roofs in 2019, and we're receiving funding for the roof at the Shaughnessy School, which is currently in design. And just recapping the value of those, in 2019, the projects that we were approved for by the MSBA at the Bailey, the Sullivan, the Daly, the Greenhelch, and the McAuliffe, and the Rogers schools totaled $13,604,152. The MSBA paid $10,031,253, and our share was $3,572,899. So out of over $13.5 million, we pay approximately 20% of the cost. And so that's a pretty good return on our investment. Currently, for the 2021 application, we are applying for 20 projects at 13 locations. for MSBA ARP consideration. And those include the Bartlett Community Partnership School for a roof and a boiler, the Butler School for a roof and a boiler, the Daly School for roof and windows, the Greenhelge School for roof, the Lincoln School, a roof, the McAuliffe School, a roof, the McAvenue School, a roof and boiler, the Moody School, a boiler, the Merkland, a roof, the Robinson, roof, boiler, and windows, the Rogers, a roof, Shaughnessy, a boiler, the Wang, roof and boiler. Again, there's no guarantee by applying that would be invited to the next stage, but we have to apply. Let me also state that there are a number of needs across the city schools, and we will continue to assess additional needs and additional projects and prioritize those for the next round of funding as well. But right now, we're focusing on this 2021 in time being of the essence that the vote be taken so the MSBA can move forward with our applications. If you look at the last slide for the application process timeline, it shows that the applications were due in June 2021. We did timely file all the applications. The MSBA will do site visits. As I said, those will be concluded. Mr. Superintendent, I think we were told the 26th or so, next week.
That's correct, Madam Manager.
Okay, so they will be coming to visit all of these schools. And then over 3 months, they will select those projects that will be invited to participate in the process. And then depending on which project or projects are submitted, we'd submit documents to the MSBA, would be back before you for the council to fund schematic design. And then, as we know from our most recent experience, the MSBA will then assign a consultant, and they will prepare the scope of the budget, and the MSBA will approve the final scope and budget. So once approved, it's a 24-month, it must be completed within 24 months. So we've successfully completed, we're wrapping up all those projects I mentioned that were approved in 2019. We're beginning the Shaughnessy School roof, and so this is the next round of applications. So the request is for the school committee, for the city council, to authorize Superintendent Boyd and myself to make this application or express the statement of interest for each of these 20 projects at the 13 locations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions? So I need a do you have a question, Council Elliott?
No, Mr. Mayor, I just want to make a brief comment.
Sure.
Thank you for the report, Madam Manager. Thank you for the information and the update. This is imperative, as we can see from the list of repairs that we need. We think our schools are new, but they're not as new as we think they are, and the roofs are only good for 25, 30 years, and all the investment that we made, we have to continue to upgrade or improve. So I'm going to support this. I do think it's important to let the people at home know, as you mentioned, and just to reiterate, we have already received $10 million of a $13 million bill to fix the elementary schools, the boilers, the roofs. They're not sexy projects, but they have to be done, and they cost a lot of money. So, kudos to you and the school committee, school superintendent for resubmitting applications. We have to continue to submit them. We don't get them all the time. We do, the administration, and we do pretty good, in my opinion. So this next long list of 20 projects at 13 locations, as you mentioned, they're eligible. I'm glad we're submitting the application. And there is some local cost, but as you mentioned, 20% is what we have to pay, and we're still going to have this obligation. So, kudos again to submitting these applications for accelerated repair, and the list is going to go on, but at least we keep taking a bite out of all of these major problems that will only cause more problems. So, yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I only have one comment, and that is, my belief is firm when I say we must and we have an obligation to maintain that which we own, and that's what we're doing here tonight. And I'm very grateful that we're getting money from it. We're not footing the bill solely alone, we're getting money. So we have to do this. This is not something frivolous. We need to fix this. So I move approval, if there's no other comments, to support all 13.
Second.
No, I need to,
Sure.
Excuse me?
1 second, Counselor Sinat. So motion by Counselor Mercia, second by Counselor Elliott, to approve and to bundle 3.11 to 3.113 and to waive the second reading. Counselor Samaras?
But- yeah, I wanted to make a comment, but I can't see, I can only see the logo here on my screen for whatever reason. But no, I want to thank the city manager and the superintendent. I mean, I think what people have to realize, the one thing is, we're going to get this money because we're applying for it. There are many times, in many cases, there is no application for what is available to us. And I want to congratulate the city manager, especially in the superintendent of schools, for working together to ensure that these projects are funded from the MSBA. As I said, I mean, you can see many communities that do not go after this type of funding. It's sometimes it's not thought of as either that important or worthwhile. But the thing is, by being aggressive, we're able to say to the taxpayers, not only are we working with you, but we're ensuring the students that go into our buildings that they're going to go into a safe building, a heated building, and a building they don't have to worry about rain destroying their work. So I want to thank everybody for this. It's timely and it's well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Manager?
Just quickly, I did want to reiterate that though we have the list of these 20 projects, they are by no means the only projects that need to be done in the schools. We know that, and we will, so I don't want somebody out there looking, saying, what about my school? I need this or that. We're going to look at every single one. We'll, again, examine as we go into the next round. And I did want to bring up another form of our partnership, and that has to do with the roof at the Freshman Academy at the high school. That was a roof in very, very, very bad shape and needed replacement. Unfortunately, we were caught between a rock and a hard place. We couldn't apply to the MSBA because it's part of the high school, and the high school project is in a different phase. So you can't do accelerated repair when you're in the, you're redoing the whole high school, even though it's going to be decoupled with the high school after the high school's finished. We didn't have the luxury of waiting until that to apply for that school. So we went ahead, and the city is paying for that roof. We're doing it with local dollars because it was in such bad shape. There's a component for HVAC that because utilizing grants in a smart way, the school department is partnering with us on those eligible costs under ESSER funding for the HVAC. So I thank the superintendent and our teams for working together, because it is a roof that needs to be done, and we can't wait to get it done. So just another project that we're working on in the schools, and we'll have a more full report for you and for the school committee as to all the work that's going on in the schools.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Mr. Lay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to thank Madam Manager and Superintendent to stay on top of this repair. And I am sure that the school committee, the school community, including the parents, students, and staff, are happy that these projects are underway. So, thank you.
Thank you. So 1311, vote authorizing superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA Bartlett School. 312, authorize superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA Butler School. 13, vote authorizing superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA Daly School. 14, vote to authorize superintendent of schools submit SOI to MSBA Greenout School. 1.5, vote authorizing superintendent of schools submit SOI to MSBA Lincoln School. 1.6, authorize superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA McAuliffe School. 1.7, vote to authorize superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA McAvenue School. 1.8, authorize superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA Moody School. 1.9, vote authorize superintendent of schools submit SOI to MSBA Merkland School. 1.10, vote authorize superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA Robinson School. 11, vote authorize superintendent of schools to submit SOI to MSBA Rogers School. 1.12, authorize superintendent of schools submit SOI to MSBA Shaughnessy School. And 1.13, vote authorize superintendent of schools submit SOI to MSBA Wang School. Need a motion to approve by Councilor Noon, seconded by Mr. Lay. Roll call.
Counselor Conway.
Yes.
It's a yes.
Yes.
Counselor Drinkwater.
Yes.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Leahy.
Yes.
Counselor Mercier.
Yes.
Counselor Noon.
Yes.
Counselor Rourke.
Yes.
Counselor Samaras.
Yes.
Ms. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Dakota.
Yes.
Mr. Dillon.
Yes.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Mr. Lay.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, you did not call my name, but I vote yes also.
Counselor Chow.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's special meeting. Thank you to the manager, superintendent of schools. Good work by all. Thank you for staying on top of this. Need a
Motion. Motion to adjourn.
adjourned by Counselor Elliott, seconded by Mr. Lay. Thank you.
All right,
Should be like that every time, Johnny. Johnny. Should be like that every time.